What's good? So there's like 3 more months of this year, which is crazy. And one of my New Year's resolutions for this year was to read more. It started as like 10 pages a day, then it was be 20 pages a day, and so on and so forth with like each month. Then it was just try to read a book a month. And I've almost done that technically. I still need to like read a book for this month, but there was 1 month that I read multiple books, so I don't know how we want to count that. But I thought today I would just kind of loosely like review the books I read. Yeah, you know, a year recap of books. So for January, I read Solar Punk, a bunch of short stories about the solar punk aesthetic and some cool environmental commentary. And for the most part, it was underwhelming. Some of them were really cool. Others were really boring. But I saw this book in a shop in Columbus, and it's like, this picture doesn't do it justice. It's really shiny. And I broke like the immediate rule of don't judge a book by its cover and bought it. But I like the idea of solar punk, but I did mostly buy it because of the cover. But it was fine. I have it, and I'm gonna keep it because like there's some stories I would want to revisit. It's like a 6 out of 10. After that, I read Circe. Circe was amazing. I love Greek mythology in general, and this take on it was super cool. This is one of those ones I finished in like a week because I liked it that much. 8.5 out of 10. Loved this one. This is one I still technically have to finish, but like I started it in February. It is what it says, just Central African folktales. I saw this a half-price book. Thought it would be cool, you know, learn a little bit more about some other cultures. And it's really cool in that way because it was fun. Some of the stories I read, but they get a little repetitive because they are folk tales, and there's like a spectrum of really cool spiritual journey epic style stories and a lot of like the tortoise and the hare style kind of stories. So some of them kind of blend together because the leopard, the elephant, the turtle, the lizard, the monkey, the gazelle, whatever, they are characters in lots of these stories, even if in those stories those characters die. And the book, like, it doesn't have to do this, but it doesn't really distinguish that these aren't the same characters. I don't know. I may have been approaching it wrong. It's neat. I'm glad I have it, but it was difficult to, like, it's not a page turner. 7 out of 10. After that, I read Slugfest. Loved Slugfest. Like a brief history on Marvel and DC and their rivalry. And what's cool about it is like there's only sometimes a rivalry. Like, I mean, there is in this book there is a rivalry commercially, but they kind of get to a point where there really isn't a rivalry. On like an industry level, Marvel has always kind of won. And that's kind of what this book does, is like in the end, Marvel has succeeded with this and this and this and this and this. But at the end of the day, you know, it's really whichever one you love most. It's like, it kind of feels like you just said that Marvel is better. And that isn't actually what the book is saying. But the book does elaborate on how Marvel has always kind of been the way it is. It's always kind of been more laid back. So they've always approached things a little more from a relaxed way. They weren't ashamed, excuse me, that they were a comic book industry, whereas DC has always been a little more corporate. They weren't real chill about their process. They were run by the suits for the longest time, and they treated it like it was just a business, like they didn't have fun with it. But the artists and the writers, they were always like pals. They would go to like the same place for lunch. They had volleyball tournaments. Like, there's only been like a rivalry between the suits and the fans, because the artists and the writers, they go back and forth so much. There isn't just one group of Marvel or one group of DC. It was a great book. I think you've seen this one before, and I technically do have to finish it, but this book is lovely. Love this. I didn't say a score for Slugfest. Slugfest is a 9 out of 10. This is like a 7.5 out of 10, because it's a really cool book. These two artists like started a blog where they were just drawing all the Dungeons and Dragons monsters in their art style, and eventually they put it in a book. It's beautiful. I love it. I love me some Jurassic Park. I hadn't read the book in forever. I think we're in May now. And the book is amazing. It's way spookier. And if you know nothing about Jurassic Park going into the book, they do kind of set it up like it's a mystery at first, which is super cool. And then there are some actual like twists that they don't include in the movie where you get some jaw drop moments, and I loved it. This is another 9 out of 10. I blew through this. I haven't actually finished this one yet either, but this is cool. It's lots of different psychologists taking their professional approach to different aspects of superheroes or different characters, and basically they've written like a paper or an essay, and this book is just a collection of those. It gets a little dry here or there. It can be very interesting though, so I'd say it's like a 6.5. I've had this book for over a decade. I accidentally stole it from school, high school, and it's mostly really interesting. It takes this cool look at how science has either shaped history or how science was developed in a way that is super historically significant. It's definitely a little dry. Would be an amazing documentary, but I needed to read it because it's been on my shelf forever. And it was very informative. But like in the book, they have like the chemical formulas, and they do explain how to understand them, but I still struggled. So as cool as it is, I don't know how much of it I retained. 6 out of 10. I've audiobooked this before. I think we're now in June, July, but I wanted to physically read it, and because of everything going on, I thought it was appropriate. And I mean, you know, it's a good read in general. I didn't read it in school. I totally get why people read it in school, and I hope people continue to read it in school. 8 out of 10, but it's depressing. This is another one I've technically audiobooked, but I never finished the audiobook. And when I saw this version of it, Metamorphosis, I loved the cover. I had to have it. It's so cool. So I read that in the late summer. And like it's very interesting, but it's also really sad. And it's got like a kind of family commentary. So very, very interesting. I'm glad I read it. It's a small book, but it's kind of dry, so it took a minute. I'd say this is another 6 out of 10. So for my 18th birthday, my mom told all my friends and family to get me a book instead of a present. It's like a thing some people do. Never heard of it until then. So this was a book my 8th grade social studies teacher gave me. And I've had a bunch of these books, you know, I've moved with them now like 5 times, but I haven't read them yet. So I felt silly and I decided I need to read some of these. So that's why I read this. This was like a cool little novel about this kid who's like raised by a guy who's like adamantly against the government, so he grew up in the forest. And it's just kind of a straightforward little tale about him not wanting to be a part of any kind of system, but also realizing his dad might have been a bit of a nut. There's more to it than that. It's not something I usually read, but I enjoyed it. Like it was a cool read. 7 out of 10. This was another one I got for my birthday from a like environmental science grad student I knew when I was a really little kid. This was depressing as hell. If you don't know what it is, it's like the history basically on pesticides and the horrible effects they have on basically everything. And while there's been a lot of work to fix that and like add regulation, the book has little things like if they don't fix this will get worse, and it's like things that we know nowadays like they haven't fixed, so it's a little depressing. This is like a 6 out of 10. Another psychology one, but like more of a page turner. This takes like a psychological approach to each of Batman's villains and like their particular brand of crazy, and it was really cool. And they do the Robins as well, but they don't do Batgirl. And the author was like, because Batgirl doesn't really seem to have any issues. It was like an 8 out of 10. I read all of Andy Weir's books this year, kind of starting back in early fall. I read them backwards. Project Hail Mary was amazing. It may be my favorite book that I read this year, though Jurassic Park is really hard to beat. But this is like not a small book, and I blew through this. I could not put this down. I got Em to read it, I got Mac to read it, Casey's waiting to read it, but Mac has it still. This is a 9.5 out of 10. After reading that, I wanted to read his other ones, and I couldn't find The Martian yet, so I bought Artemis. And it's good, it's just not as good. It's a very cool idea. This girl lives on the moon, there's a cool moon city, like in a believable way, but still not as cool. I got 7.5 out of 10. Then I finally got The Martian, and it's like sci-fi by technicality. So while that's really great, I mean, I think the movie approaches some of the things a little bit better, and it's a little bit boring because it's a lot of math, but I understand why everyone loves it. This is like a 7.5 out of 10. It deserves an 8, but for me, it's like a 7.5. I just recently finished Ministry of Time. It was interesting, lots of potential, but not what I thought it was gonna be. So didn't love it. 6 out of 10.